Hey guys, today I just want to finish the last part of the story I started yesterday, The Maker of a New Yorker. So let's begin. On a Broadway, Raggles, successful suitor of many cities, stood bashful like any country swain. For the first time he experienced the poignant humi- humiliation of being ignored. And when he tried to reduce this brilliant, swiftly changing, ice cold city to a formula, he failed utterly. Poet though he was, it offered him no color, no smiles, no points of comparison, no flow in its polished facets, no handle by which he could hold it up in view, its shape and structure, as he familiar, familiarly and often contemptuously had done with other towns. The houses were interminable ramparts, loopholed for defense. The people were bright, but bloodless specters passing in sinister and selfish array. The thing that weighted that weighed heaviest on Regal's soul and clogged his poet fancy was the spirit of absolute egotism that seemed to saturate the people as toys are saturated with paint. Each one that he considered appeared a monster of abominable, abomi, abominable, and insolent conceit. Humanity was gone from them. They were toddling idols of stone and varnish, worshipping themselves and greedily for though though oblivious of worship from their fellow graven images, frozen, cruel, impeccable, impervious, cut to an identical pattern, they hurried on their way, like statues brought by some miracles to motion, while soul and feeling lay unroused in the reluctant marble. Gradually, Raggles became conscious of certain types. One was an elderly gentleman with snow-white short beard, pink unwrinkled face, and stony sharp blue eyes, attired in the fashion of glided youth, who seemed to personify the city's wealth, ripeness, and frigid unconcern. Another type was a woman, tall, beautiful, clear as a still engraving goddess like calm, clothed like the princesses of old, with eyes as cloudy blue as the reflection of sunlight on a glacier. And another was by product of this town of Marianids, a bored, swaggering, grim, pretendingly sedate fellow with a jaw as large as harvested wheat field, the the complexion of a baptized infant and the knuckles of a prize fighter. This type leaned against cigar signs and viewed the world with frapped contumely. A poet is a sensitive creature, and Raggles soon shriveled in the bleak embrace of the undesirable, undesirable. The chill things like ironical, illegible, unnatural, ruthless expression of the city left him this scolding, vinegar faced housewives at black doors, the kindly spleen of bartenders behind provincial free lunch counters, the amiable truculence of rural constables, the kicks, arrests, and happy-go-lucky chances of the rather vulgar, loud, crude cities, than this freezing heartlessness. Ruggles summoned his courage and sought alms from the populace, unheeding, regardless, they passed on without the wink of an eyelash to testify that they were conscious of his existence. And then he said to himself that this fair but pitiless city of Manhattan was without a soul, that its inhabitants were mannequins moved by wires and springs. And that he was alone in a great wilderness. Raggles started to cross the street. There was a blast, a roar, a hissing, and crash as something struck him and hurled him over and over 6 yards from where he had been. As he was coming down like the stick of a rocket, the earth and all the cities thereof turned to a fractured dream. Raggles opened his eyes. First, an odor made itself known to him, an odor of the early spring flowers of paradise. And then a hand soft as a failing petal touched his brow. Bending over him was the woman, clothed like a princess of old, with blue eyes, now soft and humid with human sympathy. Under his hat, on the pavement, was silks and furs. With Raggles' hat in his hand, and with his face pinker than ever from a women burst of oratory against reckless driving, stood the elder gentleman who personified the city's wealth and ripeness. From a nearby cafe, hurried by byproduct with a vast jowl and baby complexion, beer in a glass full of crimson fluid that suggested delightful possibilities. Drink this port, said the byproduct, holding the glass to Raggles' lips. Hundreds of people huddled around in a moment, their faces wearing the deepest concern. Two flattering and gorgeous policemen got into the circle and pressed back the overpulse of Samaritans. An old lady in black shawl spoke loudly of Champor. A newsboy slipped one on his papers beneath Raggles' elbow, where it lay on a muddy pavement. A brisk young man with a notebook was asking for names. A bell changed importantly, and the ambulance cleared a lane through the crowd. A cool surgeon slipped into the midst of affairs. "How do you feel, old man?" asked the surgeon, stooping easily to his task. The princess of silk and satins wiped a red drop of two Raggles' brow with a fragrant cobweb. "Me?" said Raggles, with a seraphic smile. I felt fine. He had found her the heart of the new city. In 3 days they let him leave his cot for the convalescent ward in the hospital. He had been in there an hour when the attendants heard sounds of conflict. Upon investigation, they found that Raggles had assaulted and damaged a brother convalescent, a glowering transient, whom a freight train collision had sent in to be patched up. "What's all about? What's all this about?" inquired the head nurse. "He was running down Midtown," said Raggles. "What town?" asked the nurse. "New York," said Raggles. Alright guys, see you tomorrow. Thank you for listening to me today. See you. Bye.